Hi guys, it's Conomics here, and today is the 29th of February, Friday the 29th of February. This is a slightly different interview coming up today, ladies and gentlemen. Today, it's not really about economics. Today is about the, let me just get this right, it's a bit of a tongue twister, the Emmanuel College school-based graduate internship. And I'm delighted to say that I've been joined by two former students of mine, having worked here for some years. Katie and Hannah have very kindly agreed to join me today to talk about this graduate internship programme. So welcome, and thank you very much for agreeing to do this today. I know it's sometimes not easy to sit in front of the camera, but I'm sure it'll go well.
Yeah, sure.
So let's begin. Could I just start then just by asking whether or not you were students of Emmanuel College prior to applying for your places on the internship programme?
Yeah, so we're both at Emmanuel College. We both left in 2011 and we've both been at university before coming back.
Okay, and is this programme specifically aimed at students who have only ever been to Emmanuel College?
Not necessarily, but I'd say it's beneficial if you have been. Yeah.
Okay, and tell the viewers what you have done in between your time from leaving, having studied your A-levels, and coming back in the last year. Casey, would you like to kick us off with that one?
Yeah, I went to Northumbria University and did a degree in corporate management. That degree works a little bit differently, so I went to university for 1 full year, and then in the second 2 years, although it was still full-time, I worked in recruitment as a recruitment consultant / candidate resourcer for 2 years, and then I graduated in December 2014. I also worked for the post office for 11 months as a team support, which was a national role where I travelled across the country organising training events, recruitment events, things like that. And then finally, before coming here, I also worked in HR as an HR assistant for 3 months for a company called Memut, which is a Korean hair company.
Excellent. It's always good to get a little bit of experience outside of education before you come back into it, I think. And Hannah, what about you?
So I did a 4-year degree at Newcastle.
Apologies for this, ladies and gentlemen.
Mr. Hall, please contact reception. Thank you.
Thanks. So yeah, 4-year degree, the 3rd year of which was spent abroad. So I lived in Quebec City in Canada for 6 months, teaching English for 3 months, and then working as a senior editor on an online website for like kind of pop culture articles for 3 months. And then I moved to Germany for 6 months, and I lived in the south of Germany and studied there.
Excellent.
And then came back, finished my degree.
So you're obviously a linguist.
I am.
Ja, das ist wichtig.
Yeah.
Ja. Deutsch oder Französisch?
Both.
Excellent. Okay. So you've been to university, and then you're thinking, okay, what am I going to do? What was it that sort of encouraged you and attracted you to apply for this internship programme?
So I definitely, when I worked abroad in Canada, I hated teaching. I was absolutely like furious with the whole thing. I never wanted to go near it at all. I was kind of looking into a lot of different routes, but all of which were masters, and I couldn't really afford to go straight into one. So I was looking into working for a year and then doing my masters. Then this came up, and it kind of gave us an opportunity to stop being such a cynic about teaching, really. It gave us an opportunity to go somewhere where I was like kind of familiar with how it worked, but also to try it out in a new way and see if teaching was going to be the same as it had been in Canada, and fortunately it hasn't.
It hasn't been. Okay. And Casey, what about your experience?
Having completed my degree in corporate management, I always expected that was the route I would take in terms of my career. But after spending a couple of years heading in that route, especially waiting for the post office and working in a national role, I just wasn't really finding any sort of enjoyment out of it. I wasn't really bothered about going to work every day. And when this came up, I thought, well, why not try something totally different, totally out of my comfort zone, see how that would work. So that's kind of what attracted me to it.
Okay. And so you've both been, what month is it? It's February, so you've both been here now since September, about 6 months.
Yeah.
How did you find it when you initially came back in September? Because obviously I remember you well from being students here not so long ago, and now you're coming back and you're a member of staff. How did you find that sort of transition in quite a short period of time from being a student to being a staff member and treated equally amongst staff and so on? Anna?
I would say it wasn't the easiest of transitions. On both sides, because staff have to learn to kind of see you as a colleague rather than a student, and you also have to see them as like, you're on their level now, like you speak to them on a par rather than having
first
to be,
name terms.
Yeah, that was strange, having
Yeah.
to call people by like, you know, real names.
Helen.
Yeah.
Yeah, excuse me.
Mr. Clark. But also it's a little bit strange because of the time gap, because we didn't really leave that long ago. There's like the sixth formers were actually in year 7 and 8 when we were at school, so that's been like slightly odd.
Difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not necessarily difficult, but interesting.
Right, okay. Similar experience,
Yeah.
would you say? Okay. So, 6 months, you've had a good period of time now to be working here and getting involved. So could you just, for people who are watching and thinking, oh, this is something that I might consider, could you tell our viewers a little bit about the internship program and what it involves?
So you do get a lot of experience of actual teaching. Both me and Katie both take a couple of lessons a week now, do a lot of the kind of the marking side of things, planning side of things, which does help like prepare for anyone who wants to go actually probably into teacher training. But I think we both say that it's kind of the stuff outside of that that's been really quite brilliant this year. So we both worked on the school play. Kate runs the junior fitness club. What else do we do? A million things.
Yeah, so I also work in lower ability sets for maths and English as well, which I really quite enjoyed, and I think that's helped me with the students that I also have in my subject area who are in the same sets. So that's been good. And then I'm also starting to run some revision sessions with the GCSE students who are struggling a little bit. So I really enjoy working with the students who sort of struggle more, and I think them having me there, someone who's younger and can kind of maybe relate to a little bit more, it's been helpful for them as well.
So it's certainly not 8:25, which is when we start, till 4 o'clock, and then once that's over,
Hannah Byrne, please go to the music department. Thank you.
Yeah.
So you would have to say that this probably wouldn't suit somebody who is just looking for maybe 9 to 5, 8 to 4 type job.
It's not that kind of job. You have to be prepared to kind of muck in, but that's the best thing about it. You learn things and you discover like things that you never knew you enjoyed, and it becomes part of it.
And I think if you're looking to go into the teaching profession, that's something you need to get used to anyway.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hours and hours of extra work beyond your contracted time.
Yeah.
Because it's a vocation after all.
It is.
Yes. Okay. And what would you say have been, for our viewers, what would you say have been the biggest challenges that you've faced this year?
I find it quite difficult to become an enforcer of the rules. As a
Disciplinarian?
student, yeah, it's quite strange. Like, instead of just walking on the left, I now have to be the person who tells people to walk on the left. That's strange.
Okay.
That's been a challenge.
Yeah. I would say maybe the challenge initially was my involvement in the A-level lessons in my subject, because that tested my knowledge. So after going to university and leaving for a couple of years, it's
you soon forget it.
think about it all again. Yeah. So that was initially challenging, but it's been the best thing for me. Looking to go into teaching, I feel like when I start my teacher training, I'll be in a much better position.
And what skills would you say that you've developed this year and in these last 6 months that you maybe didn't have, or perhaps were only sort of starting to develop in September?
Patience.
Patience is definitely
Patience is the
one.
main one I've developed. I think I already had quite good development of skills that you would have if you hadn't already had experience in the workplace. So for example, time management, relationship building, confidence, communication. I think if I came straight out of university, I would have found it a lot more difficult, but because I already had some experience that kind of was already there. Definitely patience with students and staff. I like.
Students and staff. Interesting. And Hannah, would you agree, or?
Yeah, I would. I don't know. I think I did come out like straight out of university. I'm slightly different to Kate. That I graduated in July and started this job in September. So for me, it was kind of like time to grow up and stop acting like a student. But I think being here and having a position of responsibility has kind of really helped us do that and kind of join the real world. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. And what would you say because you have done a lot of things in the last number of months, what would you say has been the most enjoyable thing you've done so far?
School production.
School production.
Which was?
So we did a school production of Oliver here, and we were both closely involved with that. We both were assistant directors, and I was also costume manager for that, and that involved hours and hours of working with students after school, but it really paid off, and we spent many nights here after school and the week before half term, but it went really well, and I think that, like we said before about developing relationships outside of the classroom, that's really paid off for us when we're in our subject.
100%, because a lot of the kids that were in the play are also kids that we teach, who now can kind of, they know us a lot better, they speak to us, like, they kind of trust us a bit more. They see you as real people and not just like, oh, the teacher that sleeps under the desk at school. Like, they think you actually go home at 4 o'clock.
It is a great way to develop that relationship, isn't it, when you go on school trips or do things outside of the normal day-to-day classroom activity.
And that's something I value a lot more now, because when I was at school I didn't necessarily do a lot of that personally. I thought it was just more on getting the results and going home. And it's made me realise what that can do for kids, so now I want to encourage as many people in my Year 7 tutor group to do things like that as possible.
Great, excellent.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Okay, and would you say that throughout this last 6 months, because people might be watching thinking, oh, this sounds really interesting, but I'm not sure if I'm up to doing this, what sort of support have you been given throughout these last months in order to guide you and assist you?
Well, I think we would both agree that the head of the Teaching School Alliance, Mr. Sims, has been fantastic.
Yeah, it's been great. But like, departments themselves are like really quite keen for like to have us help out. So the staff in both of our departments and the departments that we're assisting have been really keen, and also just great support throughout everything. They don't really often say no when you offer to do something, so if they can get some help in something, they're prepared to help you through it.
Yes.
So.
And it's not, you don't just have to be in the subject that you're interested in. So I spend quite a lot of time in PE, and it's gotten to the point now where when they need cover or anything like that, they specifically ask for me. So you can do a lot of things outside of what you would just expect of your subject.
Okay, great. And what type of person do you think would be most suited to this particular internship?
So I would say if it was someone who was considering teaching but hasn't actually really been confirmed for them, I would definitely think about it, because like I say, I was just totally set against teaching completely.
Yes.
And
Mr. Mulgrew, please contact reception. Thank you.
Sorry, viewers.
Yeah, I think it's a good way to actually find out what teaching is about. It's like, especially the outside of the classroom stuff. The fact that there is a lot of work, but there's a lot of enjoyment to be gained from it.
And of course, it's not something that you do for free, is it? You do get paid for this year as well, so it's a win-win in that situation as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, so 6 months through, obviously there's a lot of things happened in the last 6 months. Can you just tell the viewers then what your plans are for the future? Because I know that you're already arranged what you're going to be doing in September.
So we've both applied for teacher training, obviously Katie with business and I'm doing French and German. So yeah, we'll both be doing school direct PGCEs next year.
School direct.
School direct, yeah. So I'll be going to Whitley Bay High School to do the main part of my teacher training, and Hannah will be staying here.
Yep.
Okay, tremendous. So you were a little bit unsure 6 months ago, but having done this 6 months now, you've got a career view of where you're going and career plan and so on.
Yeah,
vocation.
Okay. So I think we're just going to wrap this one up now, actually. But just as a final question, then, so if somebody's watching this at home in their leisure time and they're thinking to themselves, "Oh, this is something which I could see myself being interested in and consider applying," how would they go about that, and where could they look for a little bit of resource maybe on it, and who would be the best person for them to contact?
So I think if they got in touch with the Emmanuel Teaching School Alliance, which they can get in touch with on the Emmanuel College website, that would probably be the first port of call. Get in touch with them through the website.
Okay, that's excellent. Well, can I just thank you for doing this today? I think it's been excellent, and I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you found it useful, and maybe we can perhaps do a little bit of a second interview in a few months' time, just before you leave. Yeah, Okay, great. Thank you. So it's goodbye from me.
Bye.
Goodbye.